So you're dreaming of Spain. Not just a quick trip, but actually, like, living there. Today, we're diving deep into how U.S. citizens can make that happen, moving beyond the standard 90-day tourist visa.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission really is to unpack how you can use that initial visit strategically, and then we'll look at the three main visa paths people take for longer stays. The big news. You might be able to start some applications while you're already in Spain.
Okay, that sounds huge. So let's start with that foundation, the 90-day Schengen rule. Most people know it as just, tourist time.
Right. Think of it as your discovery phase, a chance to really explore, see if Spain feels right for you, find a neighborhood maybe. But where it gets really interesting, as you said, is how you can leverage that time.
How so? You mean starting the visa process then and there?
Precisely. For several key Spanish visas, and we'll get into which ones the application can actually begin from within Spain during that initial 90-day stay. This can totally change the game, potentially cutting out that need to fly back to the U.S. just to apply.
Wow, okay. That saves a massive amount of hassle and, well, money too, I imagine. But there has to be a catch, right?
There's a crucial one. Even if you can apply from Spain, some absolutely essential documents need prepping beforehand. We're talking things like your FBI background check, maybe birth or marriage certificates. They must be apostilled.
Apostilled, okay, and that has to happen in the U.S.
Yes, absolutely. Before you leave, you cannot get these documents apostilled from abroad. So you arrive unprepared, and that in-country application idea, it's basically off the table.
Got it. So step one is getting those specific apostilled documents sorted stateside. Huge takeaway there.
Paramount preparation. Don't leave home without them.
All right, with that groundwork laid, let's explore the paths. What's first? Maybe the one everyone's talking about, the digital nomad visa.
Yeah, the DNV. It's definitely popular. Perfect if you're a remote worker, a freelancer, or employed by a company that isn't Spanish.
Makes sense. What are the main requirements? Is it tough financially?
Well, you need to show a certain income. It's currently based on Spain's minimum wage. You need 200% of it, which is roughly $2,600 a month, about $2,800. And that figure increases if you're bringing family members.
Okay. And the big advantage you mentioned?
You can apply for it from within Spain. That's a huge plus.
Yeah.
And it's granted for up to 3 years initially, so it's a pretty direct route to Spanish residency.
3 years is substantial. Okay, so moving from remote work, what about people who, say, want to retire in Spain or live off investments? They aren't working for a Spanish company or maybe not working at all.
Right. For them, the common path is often the non-lucrative visa, the MLV. It's specifically for those who are financially independent and won't be undertaking professional activity in Spain. Think retirees, people with significant savings, rental income, pensions.
Non-lucrative, meaning no earning in Spain. Got it. Financial requirements. Higher, I assume.
Yes, definitely higher. You need to prove you have sufficient funds for the entire year without working. The baseline is 400% of Spain's IPR indicator. That translates to around $28,800 annually, maybe just over $31,000 US dollars for the main applicant. Again, more for dependents.
And the application process for this one, can you do it from Spain?
This is the key difference.
Yeah.
Traditionally, and generally still, the NLV must be applied for from the Spanish consulate that has jurisdiction over your residence in the U.S. So you apply before you travel for the long term.
Okay, so that requires planning well in advance from home. Any flexibility there?
Well, you can't work initially, but there are sometimes pathways to modify it into a work permit after the first year in Spain, though that involves a separate process.
Interesting. Okay, one more main path, the student visa. And I hear this isn't just for college kids.
Not at all. It's surprisingly flexible. Anyone enrolling in a recognized full-time educational program can potentially use it. This definitely includes university degrees, but also things like certified Spanish language courses, as long as they're intensive, usually 20 hours a week or more.
So you could literally move to Spain to seriously study Spanish and use this visa.
Absolutely. The requirements are an acceptance letter from the school, proof you can support yourself, the amount is lower, around $800 or $860 a month currently, and private health insurance.
And the application, in Spain or back home?
Here's another potential advantage.
Right.
Like the DNV, you can often apply for the student visa from within Spain. You usually need to do it within the first 60 days of arriving as a tourist.
And can you work on a student visa?
Yes, another big plus. You're generally allowed to work up to 30 hours per week, as long as it doesn't interfere with your studies. It makes it a really fantastic stepping stone, helps cover costs, and aids immersion.
Okay, so let's recap the application location real quick. Digital nomad and student visas. Potentially apply from within Spain.
Often, yes. Big convenience factor.
But the non-lucrative visa, typically requires applying from a consulate in the U.S. before you go.
That's the standard procedure, yes.
So connecting back to you, the listener, the absolute key seems to be figuring out which path fits your situation, remote worker, student, financially independent, and then no matter what, getting those critical apostille documents ready before you leave the U.S.
Exactly. That prep work is non-negotiable. It really dictates whether you can take advantage of these newer, more flexible application routes.
hmm
What part of this surprises you the most when you lay it all out?
For me, it's probably that ability to start the DNV or student visa process while already there on a tourist stay. That feels like a fundamental shift. But yeah, beyond the visa types and the paperwork, it really comes down to thinking about what kind of life you actually want to build over there.
Precisely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, how might using that initial 90-day discovery phase more strategically, knowing these visa options exist, actually change how you plan your entire move abroad? Not just to Spain, perhaps, but thinking about how other countries might also be evolving their policies.